Hello, good morning.
Hello.
So today, the role of Javi will be played by a mime because, as if you were here yesterday with us, as you now know, we have a virus, not COVID. Don't worry, in our house, and he's definitely caught it. One of the worst in the house, but this morning he has this really cool voice. You should take up a position at a diner or something. You know, you could wait tables.
I was thinking of doing voiceover work.
Yeah.
I could, introduce some new movies or
In a world.
I was thinking that maybe CL will let me take over his announcement on his show.
I don't think I've ever heard your voice this low, this deep.
Do some of
announcing
some of his guests.
Anyway. It's amazing. It's amazing. So today we're on day 2 of, it'll be a little bit of a one-sided conversation today, guys. But we're on day 2 of our study and our discussion this week, which has been really good already. And this is all about trusting God in the process. So whatever you're going through, whether it is heart disease or it's something else, trusting God in the process of going through that thing, and what, all of the elements or the aspects of that. I can't talk. It's fine. We haven't slept a lot, so I apologize if I'm a little all over the place. I'm just like, we're here, we're going. Speaking of trusting God in the process, we're here to do our thing today with you guys, and this is really important to us. But yeah, just forgive us for all of our lack today. So first things first, I just want to make sure that you know about a link that is in the description. That link is to the YouVersion Bible app, and that is the study text that we are using as our source for this discussion. So this week, so you're going to go ahead and click that. It'll take you to the YouVersion Bible app, so you can download it on your mobile device, or it'll take you to the desktop if you're on desktop, and it'll just take you to the website. So no app to download, but either way, it'll take you to the specific study that we're on, so you don't have to look for it and you can follow along. And if you don't know us, my name's Jessica.
I'm Javi.
And he's Javi. And if I want to make sure that you're welcome this morning, if this is something that you haven't seen before, if you're new to us, we are with Underdog Ninja Foundation. And here at Underdog Ninja Foundation, we focus on 3 things, and that is faith, character, and action. Having faith. This is what we focus on Tuesday through Saturday morning, Pacific time. And that's what we do here to start that process of having faith, which builds our character and then leads us to taking action. And the action that we take gives us our results. But it all starts with our faith, our relationship with God, listening to him and obeying him and walking with him so that we can make those sound decisions and become the people that we really want to be. So that's what we do here at Underdog Ninja Foundation. That's the one piece that we feel like is vital to this journey with heart disease, and really any journey when you're battling any adversity, any other health problems, or really not even just health, anything. But this is something that we really want to focus on here. Happy Wednesday, Monica. Good morning.
Good morning.
Monica, check out Javi's voice.
Good morning, Monica. I barely could talk.
He can barely talk today, so he's lost a little bit of his voice. So this should be super interesting this morning. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just dive right in so that he doesn't have to suffer any more than he is already. I love you. You're a trooper, babe.
The thing is this really upsets me because I was looking forward to this week because this is really an important topic this week.
Yeah.
About trusting God in the process of fighting this disease, fighting our everyday life, and understanding where, getting perspective of where God's coming from and trusting him and trusting him through this difficult times. And so I was really wanting to engage and be involved. So right now it's really frustrating to me.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I know it's an attack, but we're going to deal with it and we're going to push forward.
That's right. Exactly. We know what to do. These things come,
Plus we have kids that are sick too. So.
Yeah, they're in there like coughing. I don't know if you can hear that, but they're yep. So it's definitely hit our whole house. So that we are in the thick of it with you right now. Your sister says he sounds very deep. Yes, he just got done saying that he should do voiceover work for movies. this week. Okay, let's dive into it. I'm going to jump in. So day 2 says how God perceives your trust. So it's not only important to understand why trust is important. What? Sorry, we just got interrupted by another comment. She says he sounds like Darth Vader. It's true.
I'm not breathing hard, am I?
No, you're not breathing hard. Okay, sorry. It's not only important to understand why trust is important as a whole, but also why specifically is trust important to God. Psalm 27 identifies that many will trust in the world and the things it has to offer, but few will trust in God. Perhaps it's for this very reason that trust is so important to God, because very few do. Trust is an indicator of our heart's condition, reflecting where our loyalty and commitment lies. Trusting God in the midst of our trials and storms shows him that we count on him, not the world. My nose itches. When the choice comes to choose to make things work, oh my gosh, I can't read. When the choice comes to choose to make things work by the means of this world offers or rely on God, we will choose to rely on God. So hopefully that's what we're choosing. I can't help but wonder if part of the difficulties in our lives are for this very reason, so that we can learn to trust God. When I faced my own fork in the road last year, coming out of it, I couldn't help but think I went through all of it just so that I could learn to trust God to a greater degree. Even today, a battle arose from the enemy to attack me. As a writer, someone threatening to tarnish my character because they didn't like what I wrote. This morning, I battled, wondering if I should even give in to their words. Thankfully, I had godly counsel around me to encourage me to trust what God has called me to do. If God has called me to share my testimony through writing, I must hold firm to what he has called me to do. Otherwise, I would be bending to the world instead of remaining steady to the counsel that he has marked out before me, to the course that he has marked out before me. Are you facing a battle that calls for your trust? Perhaps someone is coming against you as well, or is there a situation at work that confronts you to operate out of fear or trust? Whatever it is, may your heart reflect your commitment to God. Choose today to be someone committed to the calling, purpose, and God-ordained direction on your life. Few will choose this path, but those who do, watch God paint your story with vibrant colors, only reserved for those who are faithful, loyal, and fully committed to him. So the verse today is Psalms 20, verse 7. Some nations boast of their chariots and horses, but we boast in the name of the Lord our God. So I love that this is going on and on about why does it important to God that we trust? Because it's an indicator of our hearts. It's an indicator of where we are to him. But not only that, it is a sort of like a catalyst or a positioner for us to even be able to move forward with God. Because there's things that we need to be doing with God on the course that he's set before us, but it's so much harder to do that when we don't have trust involved. Obviously, we don't have stability, we don't have a stable foundation and security in God that helps us to move forward with him without questioning everything or wondering, if what the world is saying is true or not true. And, like the gauge, it's the gauge.
I was just going to say it's a measure of where we are with him, right?
Right. It's a measure. Yep. Oh my gosh, my nose itches.
What I thought, what I got from some of that, if you are called, if you feel that God's calling you to something, put something in you, passion, and he's directing you to a certain thing, whether it's some sort of outreach or service or whatever, there's going to be those naysayers, those people that want to tear you down, that want to misdirect you, and discourage you from doing God's work. Look, we've experienced it ourselves. This is our calling. This helping other people that are fighting heart disease or disease in general, find themselves stuck. God has called us to help them because through the trials that we've been through and through the things that God has sought us through, we've learned a lot of different things. And so we feel that God has called us to help those that are struggling in these areas. Now, you would think people would rally, right? And support us doing something that is good,
Yeah.
right? Trying to help our fellow human beings. Yet we've been attacked. We've been discouraged,
Questioned,
questioned,
doubted.
all the things by people and that's through those people, then our own thoughts and doubts start to swell. And what we've realized is that that these are attacks, these are things that are trying to discourage us from doing God's work. Yet we know where it comes from, and because we know where it comes from, we press harder. We have the attitude is just pushing forward, trusting God.
Yep.
But it hasn't been easy.
No.
And there are times that we get consumed by it. But you can't allow the enemy to take that victory from you, to take that. Look, you're doing God's work. You're doing what God's called you to do, whatever it may be.
Maybe that's just healing your body and coming back from heart disease. One of the things I was going to bring up is she said, maybe one of the reasons why we even face these battles in our life, why we are challenged, sorry, I sort of have this too, and so it's weird with my voice. She says, I can't help but wonder if part of the difficulties in our lives are for this very reason, so that we learn to trust God, so that we do learn to trust Him. And, what is it that God's saying to you through heart disease or whatever health battle that you're in? What is it that God's telling you and using that for? It doesn't mean that God says, you know what, I have something to tell you. I'm going to give you heart disease, and that's how I'm going to tell you. Heart disease happens, but God uses that for all kinds of things. He uses these adversities for growth, right? We've talked about that a lot. But what is it that He wants us to learn through that? And a lot of times that's to trust Him more. This adversity moment in our life, any adversity moment, is a really, really good opportunity for us to build our trust and our faith, to position ourselves for whatever God has next. That's the thing, is that we want to go from point A to point B in life, right? Regardless of whatever's on the path in between. We would love to go from where we are to wherever we want to go. Like, we want to get over there. And we've talked about before where one path, that God's pointing to has a lot more going on. It's a mountain. There's a trail around it. There's like all of these, roadblocks. There's, danger. There's all of these things. It's just a much more complicated path sometimes. And then we're like, oh, but here's a straight path through the prairie, but there's snakes over there. And not only that, but here's the thing. If we want to go from here to here, most of the time, I mean, maybe there's exceptions, sure. But most of the time, you have to be a different person for that thing in your life that you want so badly. And a lot of the reason for that is if you were already the person that could do that or would do that, you would already be doing it. Most of the time. I know that that's really general, but a lot of the time it's because we need new capabilities. We talked about this on our show this last Saturday. New capabilities. We need new skills. Maybe we need to meet new people. Maybe there has to be something new in our life. So we need to go through some things. We need to learn some things, whatever. And so that path that God has us on sometimes is for teaching us those things, is for positioning us to be the person that we need to be prepared for the next thing. Because we can't even do it when we get there, if we get there. If we're not the person that we need to be, you know what I mean? Because that's another thing, is we won't even get there if we're not becoming that person. Because most of the time it isn't just walking down a path and going to a place. It's actually changing our character, building our character, growing that, and learning and shifting to new ways of living and being. And that is all about becoming the person that we want to be, that we said we would be, that God wants us to be. And so we have to take those hard paths. We have to take the rough ground and the roadblocks and the obstacles. Sometimes that's the path God asks us to take, and that is the path. That's the only way, because that resistance, that weight, that those trials are the reasons why we are able to actually overtake some of these things in our life, overcome them, and it gives us the resistance gives us the strength, just like in the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
What's good? Hey, Mike, check out Javie's voice. This is my entertainment for the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what am I?
Do I amuse you like some sort of a clown?
Exactly. You said it right. Said it for me.
Yeah. So we're all sick in this house. So he's got this really cool diner voice going on.
Now you messed me up. I had this whole thing.
I was just talking about. Sorry.
But I wanted to go back to what you were talking about, the two paths that we take in life. A lot of us, we have a goal, destination in mind. We have a goal that we're shooting for. A lot of us, we want to get there as soon as possible, right? And so when we have two paths presented to us, and one of them is looks like a straight path. It looks like a beeline right to that goal. But then the other path looks like it's full of twists and turns, rocky roads, dense forest, and all kinds of different weather. It's going to take some time to get there. They both will get you there, but two different paths. The thing is a lot of times we want to take that path. And if we do take that path, we get there. We get to that destination just before that goal, just before the thing that we want. And we'll get there here too. But when you take that easy road, you get right before your goal, or you get to the goal and you can't get it. It's right in front of you, but you don't have the skills and the ability to cross that chasm.
Yeah, or the strength.
You get right up to it, and let's picture for a second. You get right up to it, and there's this chasm between you and your goal, and it's just right there. But you don't have the skills or the ability or the tools to move forward. Yet when you take this other route, God leads you to this other route. And it's hard. You have to work for it. But during that, you learn some lessons. Yeah, you probably made some mistakes, but you've learned some lessons. You've gained some skills. You've gotten stronger, faster, you have more abilities. And so when you get to the end and you come to that same chasm between you and your goal, you're able to just fly over it and able to get there with no problem. Exactly,
Mike. When you take shortcuts, you cheat yourself. Yes, out of growth opportunities. So, when we're talking about our health, there aren't any shortcuts. We all know that. There's no magic pill, okay, that cures.
I wish.
If there was a magic pill, he'd take it.
I say I wish, okay? And we all say we wish. Right now, I wish I could take something, get my voice back. But this is the thing. What is God? I don't want to miss what God's teaching me. I don't want to miss what God's doing in me. Right now, I'm struggling because I'm sick. I'm not struggling with my heart disease. I'm struggling because of illness. But what is God teaching me through this? He's teaching me to show up. He's teaching me to be consistent. He's teaching me to think beyond myself, and that he has something to do, want me to do. Am I going to stick to it? Am I going to do it? Am I going to continue to push the mission forward? And so that's where I'm being tested. And I don't want to, I'm taking these things to kind of, so you guys could hear me and I could talk a little bit, but I don't want to miss those things. And same thing with heart disease. Yeah, I wish something I could take a pill and my heart disease would go away. I don't have to think about it. I could just go on living my life. The thing is living my life how it was before was destructive. It wasn't a good life. I was a totally different person. Through this journey and through the battles and through the hard times, I've become a new person, a better person. I'm enjoying a life that I thought I would never be able to live. I have a family, I have a wife, I have a house I thought I would never have. Those are blessings. And I wouldn't want to take any shortcuts just so I could hold on to the old person I used to be. He showed me through this how I could be better, how I could thrive, how I could take what is the adversity that's been put upon me and overcome it. And I think that's what we miss when we get impatient and we don't trust God in the process. We don't put our faith in him, that he knows better, that he's teaching us and he wants us to excel. Anyway, I got to stop. Go ahead.
You okay?
Yeah.
So this man can talk for hours. I love you. So you're absolutely right about the trusting God in the process. And so that's what we're talking about this week. If you're just joining us, is we're talking about trusting God in the process of not only heart disease, but really anything that we're going through. But today specifically is about why is that important to God? And we talked in the beginning about how that's an indicator of where our heart lies, of where our commitments are, like the position or the condition of our heart. And that's really important when it comes to walking with God. How can you walk with somebody in a relationship if you don't trust them? And how are we going to be directed by God if we don't trust him? And how are we going to go in the direction that he would want if we don't trust him, right? How are we listening to him? How are we even hearing his voice if we don't trust him? Maybe your trust with God, could be strengthened if you're not hearing from him. And look, and I'm not even saying, you don't trust God. It's like we don't realize the condition of our heart sometimes. He'll point out stuff like, we'll say, God, show us, reveal things to me that I'm lacking, or show me where I'm falling short so that I can pick up the pieces and I can make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to be doing. Reveal that to me. Show me what I'm missing and I can do better. Well, sometimes he will. And that is also part of the process. And you have to trust him in his building you into the person that can fully trust him. And that sometimes we are lacking some of those pieces because, we say, well, we do trust God. But trust and faith aren't just, they're not just descriptive words. They're actions. Trusting God is also walking in trust. It's walking in faith.
Right.
Your actions have to actually reflect the trust and faith, like taking actions that show, well, I trust God, so I'm going to take this step, because I know that this is what he's asking me to do. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't look like I have the straight path. I don't actually even see how I'm supposed to get there, God. But I'm going to trust your process because I know your process, because I've done this with you before, because, this is something that I know works and that it's always better than my plan. And I know that there's blessing in it and growth in it and a deeper relationship with God in it, which then also builds your trust in your faith. And if you haven't had that relationship or that experience with God before, then it's about time that you get into proximity of people who have, and you start listening to their stories and you start getting encouraged and start educating yourself on the process and how it works with God and try it out. Start trusting God. Take him on. He says, try me and I will show you. He's like, I'm not just trying to be a dictator. He's really a graceful God, and he will take you through the process gracefully. But we have to understand that there's work to be done. Just like Mike said, you can't take shortcuts. It's the growth opportunities are all the opportunities that we say we want, but we don't want to pay the fine for it. We don't want to, or the fee, or we don't want to, the entry fee, right? We're like, we're here for the race. But I don't really want to pay the fee or race. But I want to get to the other side. So how do I get to the other side without running?
Right.
And it's like, you have to run the race. And running it with God makes us stronger, makes us faster, makes us safer. He's carrying us. We actually do less work with God than we would do without him, because not only are we clear on our direction and not lost and wandering in the wilderness, but also he multiplies our efforts. So it may seem like we have a lot of work to do when we're doing things with God because he's calling us to a lot of things. But if we were to ever go accomplish that amount of stuff on our own, we would do 10 times the work, not be under his protection and not have the clarity. And by the way, wouldn't reach the heights that we would reach in our life. And I'm not talking about, luxury or anything. I'm talking about spiritual luxury. I'm talking about abundance. Spiritually speaking, the person that we want to be, the relationships, the quality of relationships that we want to have, right, the perspective that we desire to have, and the person we want to be. And those things, there's no way without God I would ever have come to the point I am in my life right now with the person I grew up to be and I was started out. Ooh, no way. I was not on a path to becoming this person. And that was totally and utterly God. And I have learned over the years how to trust him more and more and more in the process. So then it becomes even faster. Our, you call it bounce back rate, but our bounce back rate, when something happens, we immediately start looking for the gems and the things we can learn and the treasure in the tragedy or something, the making our mess our message or whatever acronym or metaphor you want to use. But it's something that we do so quickly now instead of taking years to figure it out because we know his process and we trust that process. And we know that if something is coming against us, even if it's a little virus in our family this week, there's a reason for this. We have definitely refocused on what's important, how to push through, right? And be okay with, there are some things that really needed to get done this week, we thought, and they're not going to get done this week. And so it teaches us to trust God in the process of we couldn't do the things this week we needed to do. Did that make or break anything?
Right. Exactly.
What's important, what's not.
Right. So because we stress about, we got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah.
Well, now we're set back on our heels and saying, well, is it really that important?
Yep.
We're not going to be able to do it. So maybe that's some of the lessons that God is trying to teach us. One of the other things I wanted to bring up is we talk again about these two paths, about taking the easy route or taking the hard route. Those are still movements forward. Whatever decision that is made, it's a movement forward towards a certain goal.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you're frozen? Those of us that are fighting this disease are fighting these things in our life that it is overcome us and we can't decide, we can't move, we're overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. That's not trusting God either in the process. You're allowing the fear, you're allowing the magnitude of the situation to
mm-hmm.
overcome you and just keep you stagnant. Stagnation, I'll say this again, stagnation leads to disease. It leads to death. And that's also where the enemy wants you. If he has you so confused and you're just spinning in circles and you're not going anywhere, that's not trusting God in the process either. Right? So
mm-hmm.
what we're trying to do is encourage you to move. Now, look, if you're part of our free group, we have a lot of people. Let's be honest. I'll be honest with you. We have a lot of people in our free group that they're there and they're not doing anything. It's just a Facebook group. Yet we see them in other groups too, other heart disease groups too, and they seem to be surrounding themselves with the people that will keep them spinning. And it's just a group of people just spinning up in this disease mm-hmm. and not moving forward, allowing this disease to overcome them. And so if you are one of those people, you haven't taken advantage of all the resources, all the things, free mm-hmm. resources that are in the group or the community that will come beside you and help you on your journey. Mm-hmm. If you haven't taken advantage of that, I encourage you to take advantage of that. Because look, there's a reason why there's a saying, misery loves company. Okay. But misery is exactly where the enemy wants you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want you to move forward, because if you're not moving forward, you're not completing God's mission. You're not completing the life that he has for you. You're not realizing the love and the mercy God has set for you, despite your disease. Your disease does not need to define you. It could be the very reason that you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But again, I just feel led to speak to those people that are in our group, and you've been in there and you haven't engaged. Just engage, speak up. 1% better, right?
Yep. 1% better.
There's resources and there's information there that will help you. If you don't know where that is, reach out to us and we'll show you. If you need some encouragement, say something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people there, us and other people in the community, that will help you move forward.
Absolutely. And hey, so look, guys, this has been really good today. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut this short a little bit, just because we're not feeling well. But also, I think we covered everything. I don't think there's a whole lot more. This was so straightforward today. Really good. Make sure that you're trusting God in the process. Make sure that you are understanding and following this study and understanding, why is this important? Why is it important to trust God? Because we're going to talk a lot about all of the things about trusting God and how to do that more this week. But the idea is that foundationally, we need to understand why it's so important. Why do we even care about trusting God? And so that's all of what today was. So watch this back if you need to, and really kind of meditate on this and think about it and ask God to show you something through it, because I think that this is really so powerful in our walk with God. In moving forward with anything that we set out before us, goals or dreams or anything like that. So if you found this helpful today, like I did, I just ask that you would like and share this with your friends and family on your social media or personally, however it is that you share, because this is something that we need to do as a community. This is something we cannot do alone, and we need you guys to come alongside this mission if this is something you are passionate about too, and share these things with others so that they can get this in front of them and they can get hope and they can find the love and the support community that they need on their journey. And so that God can really speak to their heart so that they can heal in all of the ways that's what we're trying to do here, is heal in all the ways.
Right. And if you find yourself stuck and you're watching this on replay, please hit comment and let us know. Reach out to us and we'll try to we'll do our best to lead you along, help you through the process. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you're watching on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit subscribe. We absolutely love your support there, and comment and like there so we can start a conversation. We would love that. And if you want to be notified of any of our future broadcast lives or videos that we post on our YouTube channel, please make sure to hit that bell icon next to subscribe so that you can be notified next time.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Thank you so much. We love you. God bless.
Bye.